still waters. The road to the Loch twisted through thick pine and cloud-shadowed hills, just like it had in his childhood. But everything felt smaller now, more hollow. The trees seemed to lean in closer. The Loch itself, once a place of summer swims and muddy shoes, looked darker, deeper. James hadn't been back for nearly 20 years. After the accident, though, something in him had shifted. He needed to leave the city, needed to get away from Anna, whose eyes had filled with something like pity each time she looked at him. He'd suggested space, and she'd agreed too easily. So he'd come back to where it all started. The cottage was exactly as he remembered. Grey-stoned, crooked chimney, tucked away by the still waters of the Loch like a forgotten postcard. He'd rented it without thinking. He told himself it was for the quiet, to heal. But the village didn't welcome him. He'd expected familiarity, a nod of recognition. Instead, he found doors that closed too quickly and conversations that ended when he entered the room. Faces he knew from childhood passed him in the street and looked through him. He told himself he didn't care. And then he met Elsie. She was at the loch edge, sitting on the old pier, barefoot, and letting the wind play with her scarf. She turned as he approached and smiled, easy and warm. "You're not from here," she said. "I was," James answered, "a long time ago." "Funny," she said. "I've just arrived." They met again the next day, and the next, always near the water. It felt effortless, like he'd been waiting for her without knowing. They talked about everything: childhood, music, what it meant to feel lost. She showed him trails in the wood, an old stone circle mossed over with time, and the place where the Loch caught the stars just right. And somewhere along the way, James began to feel whole again. He touched her, held her hand, brushed rain from her cheek. She was warm, solid, real. But still, there was something strange. Clothes never changed. She never spoke about family. When he asked where she stayed, she only said, "Near enough." Then came the storm. It broke one night, violent and fast. Wind howling, trees bending, waves slapping the Loch shore. She didn't come the next day, or the next. On the third day he found her in the graveyard behind the old church, standing among crooked stones, the sky low and grey above her. He stopped short. She was standing over a fresh grave. His voice caught. "Elsie?" She turned slowly. Her eyes were already wet. "I didn't want you to find out like this." He walked forward, read the stone, and everything in him went cold. Elsie McCrae, 1995 to 2025. Forever part of the water. "No," he said. "No, that can't be. I've been with you. I've held you. You're real." "I am," she said gently. "But I'm not alive. I died at the turn of the year. Lost control on the ice. The Loch took me." James shook his head. That's not possible. I came here. We met. I'm alive? Elsie looked at him like something had just occurred to her. Her expression shifted, softened, then stilled. James, she said carefully, when was your accident? He opened his mouth, closed it. Memory was hazy. Headlights, impact, then water, silence. I don't know. A few months ago, maybe? Perhaps a year? I don't know, she said, voice low. Come with me. She led him deeper into the graveyard, past the fresh earth and newer stones, to a place where moss covered names and trees grew thick. There, tucked under an old pine, was a grave. Not new, but lovingly kept. Flowers had been placed there recently. A worn scarf lay at its base. James stepped closer. James Calloway, 1988 to 2020. You are everywhere. His knees gave out. He stared at the name, at the date. 5 years? I've been here all this time. Elsie knelt beside him. Fingers curled into his. You weren't ready to see it before, she whispered. But you're not alone now. And in the stillness of the loch, with the wind sighing through the trees, James finally began to remember what it felt like to let go.